All right, hey folks, out on the range, running and gunning with these cats. This is Don, Sam, and John. Everybody's an instructor here, so having a good time. When we're talking about reload, specifically, should you go over the top for your reload, inboard slingshot, or hit this shiny button on the side? So a lot of people vary, but it's worth having a conversation, and I think we're unanimous in saying that pick something, have a good reason, and shut up. It doesn't all come down to that. Is that fair enough?
They're not going to get you killed on the street.
So it's not like the investigators show up to the scene and the chalk outline of your dead corpse is there, and they're grieving because you went over the top when you should have hit the slide lock. That's not what the fight comes down to. I mean, if you want to dork out on something, make it something more important, like fundamental, something really important. This isn't it. So beware the guy who's like, if you go over the top, you're going to die, or vice versa, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair.
All right, very good. So there are some good reasons to go over the top, and there's also some terrible reasons. Here's one terrible argument. Some folks will say, hey, you can't hit this little button here because in a fight, that's a fine motor skill. I'm talking about hitting the slide stop lever right here. It's a fine motor skill. This is an example of a terrible argument, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's absolute crap of like, oh, you mean this is a fine motor skill like this button or this one? I mean, it's obviously not. It's all just a network of complex motor skills, right? And I mean, if you can't hit that under stress, you can't run the rest of the gun in a fight either. So that's a terrible argument. What's a good example of a good argument, guys? Why would you go over the top and not the button? Don, it teaches over the top, don't you?
I recommend over the top, especially for new defensive shooters, because slide forward or slide lock to the rear, that's going to load the gun, no matter what. So it's one technique that's going to work across both of the possible situations.
No matter what, your gun's going
right.
up.
Unless there's something broken.
Sounds good. That's a good argument. Good argument. Anybody else have one?
I'd say the same.
Lefties, righties, lefties.
Yeah, if you're a left-handed shooter, you're living in a right-handed world, and so a lot of guns don't have ambi controls, and what if you grab somebody else's? You may just assume go ahead and go over the top, so it'll work for everything. Also, if you have a subcompact gun, like a little Shield or a Glock 43 or something, and that button is difficult to push, just go ahead and go over the top. Another instructor friend says, hey, what about a battlefield pickup? You never know, and going over the top will get anything working. So, that one I have a little bit more issue with, because that would mean you'd have to also do a battlefield pickup of a spare magazine and then stage it. So it's kind of like, I don't know about, but anyway, there's some good arguments out there, right? The slide stop lever is the school of thought I prefer. And part of the reason why is, hey man, it is just as consistent as over the top for me, and there is just nothing faster. We'll go ahead and shoot in just a moment, and you can kind of see the speed differences, but that slide stop lever works every time. I mean, how many of you guys have gone over the top and actually missed it before? Never? I've missed it. You've never missed it?
I've missed it a couple times when I didn't have an arm on.
Gotcha. When you have an RMR, it's hard to miss, but I've seen students miss, and I've missed it as well. Y'all are all superhuman, so congratulations for being amazing. But I've missed this. I've never missed this. Now, when it comes to the slide stop lever, the real big thing to remember is always go for a nice 1-2. So listen to the sound here. I'll go, hear the 1-2. That's what you want, rather than just going for one sound like this. This will get you in trouble. Hear that? And look what it banged out. So this isn't an inconsistency of the methodology. This is because I failed to, man, I'm really glad that actually happened. That's because I was a little over ambitious with this slide stop lever, and I needed to just go ahead and 1 and 2 and stage my thumb in such a way that it'll hit and come down, and then I can go ahead and punch out. But it works every single time for me, and that's why I dig it. There is nothing faster, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and see that. I'll just do a little 1-and-1 drill, and I'll just demo both things. I'm not flying fast. I'm just going to do nice and consistent here. Somebody else want to demo the over the top?
You got it.
John, you want to go over the top or do you slide stop? Which one do you do?
I usually do slide stop.
Slide stop lever?
But there's also, for the argument of the lefty, there is a method for lefties.
Sure.
To use a slide lock still. So if I came over here, let's go left side, right? If you stage that knuckle just a little higher than your slide release, you can get it in there. You just have to be a man about it.
You got to be a man.
Yeah. There's no little girl fingers going on. Or
the other 54 genders.
or the other 54 genders that are out there.
I don't have to monkey with my whole grip every time. All right, here we go. Groovy, nice, smooth, quick, over the top. Very good. Both methods work really, really well. They're nice and consistent. You saw the first one was a little bit quicker. I don't really care. Whatever blows your hair back. Just don't be an obnoxious nerd and go around saying your way is the only method. Both work. Just have a good argument. Stick with it and dork out on something more important, right? Train hard, train smart. Guys, y'all got anything? All right, see you guys.